Oh guys, welcome back. It's that time of the week again, obviously, if you're here. As you can see, I'm just sorting out my glassware on my new shelves. So getting clearing it up, cleaning some of the glassware, putting a lot of it away for the winter because I won't be doing that much more of the using the glassware. But it's a nice little. Ooh, I don't want to break them. I don't want to drop them in too hard. So nice little bit of glassware there with all different sizes for doing the measurements out. So that's nice that I just purchased, and I also just purchased a new one of these, which is always handy for dropping gold. So because it is no little nukes for the gold to get stuck on, so I'll be using that in a few videos in the future. So what's today's video about, I hear you ask? Well, today's video is about these little things. So I'm about to filter the result. So as you can see, it has worked because I have gold floating around in there. But what it is these little connectors from your routers and stuff like that, or you get them on the computers, you have them on your anything really that had a phone line or a Ethernet connection. That's what they were for. So I'm just about to get ready to filter it into here, and you've just in time to watch the filtering. But before you watch the filtering, you might as well watch how we get from these to the gold. So while I'm tidying up here a bit more and putting stuff away, you watch the video, come back in, we'll filter it, we'll see how it turns out like, and we'll go from there. So see you guys in a second. Watch that video and come back for the filtering. Right guys, so you want to see how I get from these to the gold floating around in that jar that I showed you earlier. So these are just the little connectors, which are for like telephone connectors or Ethernet connectors or LAN connectors, whatever you want to call them. You'll find them on boards like these. So this is out of a router, so there's like 4 of them there in a row, another one here. I usually take them off using the heat gun. So I use the heat gun, take the solder off, and that just takes them off. I just want to see if I can take them off with this and just add them to this now if I can. If not, we won't worry about it. These will be done at a later date. I'm just doing this video to show you. So that's them there. So you can see there, it just pulls off. And then we have some with all the pins are all over on this side. So you can see all the pins are in here. So these are like little gold flash pins. Again, I just pull this plastic away from them so you can get a better look at them. If I can get the plastic to come off. It's easier when they're not still attached to the board, because you usually pull it the other way. So you can see them here. If I just pull a few of these through the plastic. So these are little pins which have a little bit of gold flashing on them. Very, very tiny, minute gold flashing on them. But that's what they all connect up into now. These are the ones I'm going to be working on. I was just showing you them. I'm not going to be actually going near them other ones that I took off. These are the ones I'm going to be working on for the video. So as you can see, they're just covered in, first off they're covered in a bit of foil. So we're going to, or not foil, but a bit of metal. So we're just going to remove that, and then we're going to move on to the thing. So again, by the power of editing, when you come back, I'll have all these removed. There'll be no more metal stuck to them, and we'll go on to the next stage of them. So let's remove all the metal from them. So 1, 2, 3, and so there we have it. No more silver bits covering them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring us a bit closer to the action, so you can see what my next stage is on this. So the next stage is I have to get these pins that are in here, hard to see them, but they're gold plated. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these little pliers. There's 8 little pins coming across here at the back, so I'm just going to take one, straighten it out, and just pull it through, and there we have our gold plated pin. So you can see the gold there on it. So again, I'll do that on all these to get my next load of pins. So again, it's just pull them through. It's a slow, tedious job. I could just probably hit them with a hammer or something like that and just smash it up that way, but then I'd have to siphon through all the bits of plastic and find the pins and separate them out. And so again, when it's a winter's evening and there's nothing much on the TV, this is just does pass a bit of time. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to, again, by the power of editing, I'm going to go through all these and we should be left with a pile of pins at the end of all them, and we'll be ready then to put these into the dilute nitric using distilled water and nitric to remove the gold from the metal, get rid of the base metals, and so we should see some gold floating again. So again, guys, by the magic power of editing, when I take my hand away from here, we should have all just pins in the box. So 1, 2, 3. So there they are, guys, the gold pins. So the next stage, you can see it's only a small amount of them, it's not a massive amount from that, but usually I do a lot more, but for this video I'm just doing that amount. So what I'm going to do then is, my next stage is I'm going to put them into distilled water. So I'll just get some distilled water. So we have some distilled water here, and I'm just going to pour the pins into distilled water, and then we're going to go for the shed and we're going to start adding the nitric to it, and we should get a reaction. So just the pins are in there, it's not much, but it should be enough to get the reaction. So we'll put that onto a bit of heat in the shed and we'll add the nitric. So let's head for the shed, guys. Okay, guys, so here we are in the shed, and I have the water just on a bit of heat. It's not on high heat, it's just on warm, because I don't want it too high, I don't want it too hot. And what I'm going to start off with doing is I'm going to just add in 50 milliliters of nitric. So I'm just going to pour that in. Probably won't get a reaction straight away, but we'll leave it for a few minutes and we'll see, will we get a little bit of a reaction starting. So actually we can see the bubble in there. So we are getting the reaction straight instantly. So you can see the bubbling and it going a bluey tinge. So we're getting a blue tinge to the liquid straight away. So that is just the copper and the tin and the any of that sort of stuff just straight away starting to dissolve in the nitric, and we're getting a I can see already bits beginning to float up out of the liquid. So I don't know, can you see it in here or not, but on the top of this liquid, if we can tilt down the camera a bit, we'll take the zoom out, you can see that it's already starting to float a few little bits of gold, which is great. So I'll leave that. I will put a little wash dish on top. Let me bring you back into focus, bring it out. So I'll let that work away. I won't bother adding any more nitric. I'll leave that on a low temperature. I might just turn the heat off altogether, leave that overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll check it out and see have we gold floating around on that. Again, as I said, I put in 50 milliliters. I may not have needed that amount for the amount of pins that I put in, but I can add a few more pins to it as I need to go on until I stop seeing a reaction from it. And then my plan is eventually, with these gold pins or these bits of gold foils that we get from this, is I'll be adding them to some of the liquids I already have, like what I've done here. If I just show you, so I had some of this liquid, as you can see there, and I've added some of the gold pins to it. this is Acarija, and I've added the gold pins, but it's no longer dissolving the gold pins in here. So that should have neutralized. That means that there's no more nitric active in this solution. So that means that it should take very little to neutralize it. I'll siphon out them pins again, and I'll use them again for them gold pins for in other things. So I'm going to kind of be using that to neutralize my nitrics in the metals rather than urea. I'm using some gold pins and stuff like that, so our gold foils. So when I see that they no longer dissolve in the liquid, it should mean there's no more nitric in the liquid, so it should make it easier for dropping the gold powder, and then I can use them gold foils when I filter them out. I can use them on a future Acarija to dissolve in Acarija and just get the gold from them eventually. So it's just I'm trying to make sure I've less trouble with the nitric down the roads. So you can see in here now already there's gases beginning to build up. You can see the change of colour, so the gases are building up for the pins. So I'm going to let that work away overnight, and we'll have a look at this again tomorrow. So we'll see how the pins have gone on with it. I just want to check and see how magnetic these pins are. So they're not very magnetic. They don't move around too much in there, so chances are they were tin and stuff like that. Little bits of brass maybe or something like that on some of them, maybe a bit of copper on some of them. So we'll just let that work away, and you can see the little bits of gold floating around already on the jar. You can see it here, little layers of gold coming off and just floating around. It's going to be very minute, but it all adds up at the end of the year. So check back in a while, guys, and we'll see how this turned out. Okay guys, so it's been 24 hours since I put that liquid into it, and the observant among you will notice that I have a full jar now instead of where it was somewhere around here. So what happened was I'd recorded it, but it didn't record what I was doing, so unfortunately I can't go back and redo it. But what happened was there was a lot of white powder and stuff down the bottom, so that is metals that have come back out of solution usually, and they sit down at the bottom of the jar. So what I had to do was add a bit more acid to it, a bit more water, and bring up the amount in it so that it could dissolve more of the stuff. So you can see there the gold foils and stuff floating around. So you know, there's a few floating around, there's more floating around down here, there's some in here. If I stir it up you'll see more, but I don't want to stir it up because it's so filled up. But what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put that into two separate jars, and we're going to filter it. So let's go and see how the filtering gets on. Okay guys, so you've watched, I hope, the video to get to this stage where we're filtering. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick on some gloves. I usually have better gloves than these, but these will do for this job because I don't think we're going to be that bad. And we'll get ready for filtering. So what I'll do when I get my gloves on, why don't you guys get a better look, get a better angle for yourselves. So what we'll do is we'll set up the camera in a better angle for you, and we'll filter this. So while I set up that camera, guys, make yourself comfortable and we'll set ourselves up in it. So now guys that you're standing right here beside me and getting the right view of it, let's have a look and see what we've got. So we're just going to pour off the acids in here with the gold foils in them, and you can see the gold just falling in. A few bits of plastic and stuff that got in there by mistake, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that bit at the bottom because there's a little bit of gunk in there. I might just add a bit more water and dilute it down a bit more. And we'll just get the second jar. So we're just pouring that off. You can see the foils begin to float in around here. So it's nice to see the gold on top. floating away. There's still some gold in here. I'm going to just add them two together. Might need to add a bit more acid and to get out the remainder bits and pieces, but for the bulk of it it's there now, so we'll just stir that up and we'll let that drain through. So we'll come back when that's filtered and we'll see how we got on. Okay guys, so the filtering has been going on there for a while now. It's nearly done. I just put a smaller jar underneath so I could lower it down a bit and make it easier to see. So you can see in here, you can probably see the gold is down there. It's clumped together in bits. There's bits of plastic as well that came in from some other stuff, so you can see the gold in here guys. So there you go. So I'm going to let that filter through, dry it out and wash it out and put it into aqua regia at some stage when I'm doing some more aqua regia. So it might be next year before I do it, or I might add it to the stuff I've already got on there already that I'm going to be working on. So guys, thanks for checking out the video again as always. I really do appreciate you giving up your time. All the people that come into my lives on a Monday night, I appreciate that as well. And until the next video guys, hit the thumbs up, share it out if you wish, comment, and catch you all on the next one guys. Keep on looking for that gold.